Hello, this is the Adam Freed here. I've never been here for a long time. 15 years maybe? Wow. 12? I can't really tell. I wish I was coming back on good terms, but I am not. I want to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart. And I am from Oshawa, for the record, so this is affecting everyone in our community. Last week, Darren Scott Ray, a 65-year-old man, had been released from prison on an escorted absence card. How does that make you feel, hearing those words come out my mouth? I can't even fathom it, to be honest with you. So let's talk about it. Mr. Scott Ray comes out of his little prison cell and is like, oh my goodness, freedom is here. I'm out for 3 days. I'm 31 years old. I had never heard of somebody being released on a convicted murderer charge. And I'll explain very quickly on what an escorted absence is. So what that is that if someone is serving their time in prison, right? And, it's for a low risk offense like shoplifting or, assault maybe. The parole board may look at your case and be like, okay, you're not at risk of committing any more crimes, and we'll try a 72-hour escorted. That's basically what that is. I remember seeing the news, and I remember shock, like I've never had before. I'm 31 years old, and I have never seen a case like this in my entire life. In my entire existence, even. Darren Scott Ray being released on a 72-hour unescorted hold. That to me is very disgusting. And I want to thank our Member of Parliament, Rhonda Kirkland, for advocating for our community. Not only that, but she is also bringing a motion sometime either this week or next week. I'm not exactly sure. This hasn't affected me personally, but I am going to tell you this. If I had kids, I would have had no choice but to lock them up for 3 days while this disgusting human was out. And you know what else happened? So our Member of Parliament posed a question to the Minister of Public Safety. What are you going to do to prevent this sort of thing from ever happening again? You know what the minister said? Oh, we're going to call it partisan politics. The Conservatives are doing this for click and bait. Excuse me, click and bait? This, sir, is not a partisan issue. This is an issue that needs to be investigated, in my view. And you know how I'm going to propose that this be investigated? By working collectively with the whole Canadian population to ensure that this sort of thing does not happen again. I'll go over some of his crimes real quick of what he have done. So in the 80s, Mr. Scott Ray had picked up a child, raped him, murdered him, and guess what? He trashed him into the garbage bin. That sort of person should have never, ever ever been released into society. And this is the sort of thing that scares me. I do not want to have to go walk out there and watch behind my back. I've went through this for 10 years of my personal life. I'm not going to get into that today, but I know the harrowing fear that thought could even happen to you. To me even. It sucks. It can ruin your mental health appetite. It can pretty much ruin everything. You can't even be yourself when you're constantly thinking someone's gonna strike you. That's exactly how I felt when Scott Ray was released. We need to do something today to prevent this sort of thing from ever happening ever again. You're in prison for life, you should be in there for life. Especially when you're convicted. You know, I never thought this would happen, and we need action right away. We need to take it up to the top. We need to make some noise about it because this could happen again. And we all have heard, when Justin Trudeau was in power, we lived in socialist government. We have lived this. We have lived that. Right? Well, we've heard a lot of things of what happened with our justice system. But I am very surprised that under Mark Carney that this could possibly happen. And this could possibly have happened because of our previous prime minister, in which we have lived under a socialist regime for 10 years now. And I thought it would get better under Mark Carney, but guess what? It did not. As I always say about Oshawa, and making fun of its little slogan, prepare to not be amazed. So, we need to be a collective and do something about this problem that is plaguing our streets on a daily basis. Everyone in my community is very upset about what's happening here. What is our minister gonna do? Is he gonna sit in his little luxury chair and do nothing about it? Or is he gonna stand up to his 2 feet and actually do something for our population? Because, quite frankly, I don't think he's gonna do anything. And something needs to be done to protect our children and our elderly and everyone as a whole. So tell me, what do you think should happen here? Leave a note in the comments. I will definitely read and consider everyone because we all have differing views here, but I'll tell you what I believe in. I believe that our politicians should be held metal to the ground and be held accountable for their actions. Because it is awful out here. So I'm very sorry that my first video in about 15 years is not off to a good start so far, but I promise you that I will be providing better content. I will be focusing on interviews, comedy sketches, and what have you. Please click on the subscribe button below the video and remember to click on the all notification bells. And leave your thoughts in the comments on what should happen here for guys like Mr. Darren Ray to stay in prison for the rest of their natural lives. Thank you for coming to my little TED Talk here. The Adam Fried signing out. Peace.